Hi friends, my name's Sophie and welcome to your practice. Today we're moving through a soft and melty slow flow. So this is a great practice for any time where you're feeling tired, whether it's mentally or physically, and you just need to stretch it out, maybe you feel a little bit stiff. We're going to stay pretty low to the ground today. So I have 2 blocks here. If you don't have 2 blocks, then grab a pillow instead because we're just going to be using them in the beginning for supported fish. So, and I'll let you know when you can use them throughout the practice as well for extra support. But either lay the pillow down on the ground or long ways, or lay your 2 blocks down on the middle height. One's going to go under your shoulders, one is under your head. So go ahead and make your way down to the ground. Now, once you get there, and you might adjust the blocks. I like to put the block that's underneath my back a little lower so the top edge of the block is under the shoulder blades. You might adjust them so that the one under the head's maybe a little higher. You might put them both a little lower if this is not feeling comfy and it's feeling like it's difficult to lay here comfortably, then please put the blocks either lower or just get rid of them completely. And a pillow is a great alternative for this. Now, once you get there, take your arms overhead and grab onto one wrist and just stretch. Stretch it out like you're kind of like you're waking up in the morning and you're taking a full body stretch. Then switch your grip so you're holding onto the other wrist. And then take your arms out into a cactus shape. And just notice how that feels. And then release your arms down by your sides and rest here. So again, make any adjustments that you need to feel comfortable. Close your eyes. And have a wonderful sense of arriving on your mat. Mentally and physically, you're arriving. And this practice is for you. It's likely that you spend all day helping other people, taking care of things, stuff and things. But let's mentally get ourselves into the mindset of this practice is for me. And there's something so sweet and wonderful about that realization. This is kind of like the portal into our practice of grounding. And let's take a big breath in. Fill. An open mouth exhale. Almost like a sigh. We'll do that again. Inhale. Sigh it out. Like you're deflating. Again, in. And let it go. All of the weight of your body settling into the blocks or into the pillow or the ground. And then slowly begin to roll off of the block just to one side on your forearm. Move the blocks or pillow out of the way. And lay down on your back. Bend your knees. Take your feet as wide as the mat. Take your arms overhead, grab onto your elbows or wrists, whatever feels most comfy, and start to windshield wiper your legs side to side, all the way, like really emphasize going all the way to the side and pausing there for just a second or two. And then again up and all the way over. Think of this as a breath practice, but we just happen to be moving. So a lot of focus on lengthening the inhales and exhales. We're breathing, maybe for the first time, focusing on our breath today and breathing deeply. We spend a lot of the day not paying attention to the breath, and that's okay. That would be normal. That's natural. Let's bring the knees back up. Bring the feet together and knees wide. Keep the arms where they are and settle in. I like to wiggle into it a little bit. We'll just take 3 breaths here before we get moving a little bit more. Can you soften the muscles in the front of the neck? Can you soften the pelvis down, melting into the earth? And then gently bring the knees up and into your chest. And we're going to come up to a seat in a moment here. So you can rock up or you can roll to one side and press yourself up. And then come into table from your seat. So swing it around and come onto the hands and knees. And tuck your toes. Sit back on your heels. And stretch out the toes. And reach the arms up like you're moving through water, a slow ascent. And hands to the heart. Exhale. Arms down by your sides. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Down and back up again. Sweep them up, slow movement. Hands to heart center. Let's come back onto the hands for table. Untuck your toes. Take your knees wide. Walk your hands down for a nice juicy child's pose as you settle into the hips. Really crawl your fingertips forward. Feel your heart melt to the earth. Feel the forehead pressing into the ground, the weight of your head, letting the neck release. Like you're giving yourself to the earth, and the earth is holding you like a baby. Thank you. Thank you, earth. Walk the hands over to the right now. Put your left hand on top of right hand. Stretch through the left side body. Maybe your knees go even a little wider to settle more into your hips. Take one more full breath, all the way in, all the way out. And walk your hands gently back to center and all the way to the left. Right hand on top of left hand. The forehead can still rest on the ground here if it feels okay. One more deep breath in and out. Walk your hands back to center and then walk the hands up. Keep the knees wide if it's okay, like you're in child's pose but you're sitting upright. And then take cat-cows from here. This is one of my favorite positions to take cat-cows in. But if that doesn't feel good, come into table and take cat-cows that way. And start to just move through your hips and your spine like a snake or a jellyfish. As if you have no bones. Feel the pelvic bowl tilting forwards and backwards. And take one more round. Inhale. Exhale. Walk your hands forward. Come back into table. Step your right foot outside of your right hand. Yes, we're coming into lizard. Untuck your toes. Let your right knee open up to the right. I like to wiggle into it for a moment. If you want to, you can put your forearms down, or this is where blocks can come in handy. You could put your forearms on blocks on the low, middle, or even the high height. Then rise back up onto your hands and put your right hand inside of your right thigh and push it away from you. Lean back away from your thigh. Option to lift your arm up and bend your knee and grab onto your foot. If that doesn't feel good, then don't do it. That's the beauty of the practice. You make it your own. For 3, 2, on 1, release your foot. Come down onto your fingertips and straighten out your right leg, or you could have hands on blocks. Maybe slide your right heel forward a little bit. Keep your left fingertips down. Reach your right arm up. And then reach the right arm over the ear. As your right arm goes over your ear, your right hip kind of goes back. 2 different directions. A nice big stretch through the right hip. Inhale, reach your right arm back up. Exhale, melt it over the head towards the front. Inhale, extend it up. Exhale, overhead. Once more, inhale. Exhale. As it goes over your head, you're still turned to the right. Your chest is facing the right. Inhale, reach your right arm up, and then put your hands back down onto the ground. On your exhale, your leg is still straight. And then plant your hands, shift back into lizard, and step your foot back into table, and take your left leg outside of left hand. Shift hips forward. If your right knee is too far up, you're not going to feel very comfortable here. You want a nice long lunge. That's how we get the stretch here, especially in the right hip flexors, and the outer left hip. And again, we can kind of wiggle into it. Maybe put forearms on the ground, maybe not. And if your neck is tired today, relax your head. Whenever you feel those signals from the body, the hips or the neck or wherever those common areas are, that it's time to rest, that they need a break, you need to listen if you can. Even if it's just to pause and breathe for a couple seconds. Those are signals from our body telling us it's time to slow down. Come back up onto your hands. Put your left hand inside of left thigh. Push it away from you. And I know it's hard. I'm not perfect at listening. I sometimes work through or push through. And it's usually not the best idea, but sometimes, we're human. Option to lift your left arm up, bend your knee, and grab onto your foot. But right now, by being here and practicing, you are listening to your body's signals. And what a beautiful thing to do. For 3, 2, 1. Let's put the hands down. Come up onto your fingertips and straighten out your left leg. It's a half split but wide angle. So your hands are inside of your foot. Keep your right fingertips down or right hand on block and reach your left arm up to the sky. And if it's too much, you can always keep your hands down. Reach your left arm over your ear and reach your arm back up. Exhale, arm over the ear. You're still turning to the left. Inhale, arm up. Imagine your arm is like a piece of seaweed in the ocean floating. Reach it back up. Very buoyant. And again, arm over. And reach the arm up. Inhale. Hands down to the ground. Exhale. Palms onto the ground. Shift forward back into lizard. And step back into table. Now you're going to take your knees wide. You might turn sideways on your mat. We're going to frog pose. So if you're on a hard surface, if you're on carpet, don't worry about it. But if you're on a hard surface, I don't want you to hurt your knee. So turn sideways so both knees are on the mat. I obviously have a very wide mat here today. Or if you want to put one knee on a blanket and you can slide out from your mat, that's another way to do it. So your knees go wide, you flex your feet, go onto the forearms, and take a moment to sort of shift forwards and backwards and figure out where it feels good for you to stay. Find a place where it feels maybe a little uncomfortable. This is an uncomfortable stretch. It's a big stretch. And then you can stay there. You can even lower down more so that your face or your chest, your forehead or your chest are on the ground. Or if you're on your forearms, you can just let your head relax today. Do less. Do less. Notice how the tension, even though we're in a pretty challenging stretch, the tension still rolls off of you, like snow melting from the top of a mountain. 2 more breaths. Be here fully with your breath. Lean into all of the sensation. Rise back up onto your hands and bring your knees slowly in. Take your time, take your time. You might sit back on your heels for a moment. However you need to come out of this to feel comfortable, please do. And make your way into down dog, so lift your hips. I'm not here for long, but lift your hips high, press your chest towards your thighs, pedal out your heels. Relax your head. Notice if you're kind of looking forward or tensing your head, waiting for the instructions to come next. Can you relax into it? And then simply walk your hands back to meet your feet at the back of the mat. So you come all the way to the back of the mat. Your feet are pretty wide here, like as wide as your mat. And then keep your left fingertips down. Reach your right arm up as you bend your left knee. Inhale. Exhale, put your right hand back down, bend your right knee, take your left arm up. And notice what's happening with your feet. Are you gripping your toes? Can you wiggle them a little and find a nice spaciousness on the soles of the feet, the heels and the ball mounds spread wide. Reach your left arm up a little higher. Inhale. Exhale, put your hands back down onto the ground. Fold. Grab onto your elbows. Bend your knees. Shake or bounce or rock side to side. Switch the grip so you have the other arm in front. And then release your hands down to the ground. And walk your hands all the way out into a plank. So your nice long plank. Set your knees down and lower all the way to the earth. Take your arms wide. Rest your forehead on the earth for a second. Bend your right knee and roll over your left shoulder. And keep your right hand down on the ground, or you can take your right arm around into a half bind. But your right foot is behind you, the knee pointing up. Your left arm is still straight out if you can. Keep it straight out to the left. Let your head get a little heavier as your temple rests on the earth. Every time we practice, every time we do yoga, we tune into our bodies, we're enhancing our wisdom capacity, developing a deep sense of understanding of our bodies. And there's nothing more important than that. So be proud of yourself. Come back down slowly onto the belly. Your right arm goes out to the right. Turn your head to the left. Bend your left knee. Roll over to the left side. Left hand can be placed right on the ground in front of your face, or left arm behind you into a half bind. Notice how your belly moves as you breathe. Make our way back down onto our bellies slowly. Put your hands underneath your shoulders and lift yourself up for cobra, high or low, whatever calls to you right now. Inhale. Exhale, lower back down to the ground, and then take your left arm, slide it over to the right, Bring your right knee up, kind of like you're laying in bed at night, if you sleep like this. And then take your right arm out to the right. So we are in a twist. Think of this as a supine twist. That's what it is. We just came into it in a little bit of a different way. Option to put your left hand on top of your knee. Bend your right elbow a little bit so it's kind of at 90 degrees. That will actually help you get a better stretch. It'll help your right shoulder sink towards the earth. Soften the space underneath the earlobes and underneath the chin. Where can you soften for this last breath? And then bring your right arm back around and back onto your belly. So you just slide your left arm out of the way and slide your right arm underneath to the left side. Slide your left knee up towards your arm and then open to the left. So we go into a supine twist. Right hand on top of knee. Bend your left elbow. Left arm open. Soften your eyes into their eye sockets. Let yourself be fully immersed in this feeling of presence, like you're bathing in presence. One more deep breath. And slowly bring your arm back around. Come back onto the belly. Now take your fingertips out wide, probably wider than your mat, and lift your chest up again for cobra, but just a different kind of cobra. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and draw the elbows in a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, lower down to the ground. Plant your hands. Rest your head for a moment. And then gently press up to table. And then take your legs out in front of you. Straight out in front. And sit tall as you can, and bend your knees. That might help you sit tall as well. Reach your hands forward, grab onto the outer edges of your feet. Good. Okay, now listen carefully. We're not going to do a regular fold here. We're going to take the left arm over to the right side. So the palm and the forearm are facing up on the outer right leg. You're going to grab a hold. So the palm's facing up, then you grab hold of the pinky toe side of your right foot. Then right hand just goes on right hip as you turn to the right. An option to straighten out your left leg if you can. Maybe both legs even go straight. Just be gentle, be careful. It's a big stretch. It depends on your body, where you're going to go here today. I'm going to keep my right knee a little bit bent. So you should feel something in your outer left shoulder as well, your shoulder blade. In a way, this is like a bind. Let's take one more deep breath. And then come back slowly to center and rise up. Now you're going to reach your hands forward. Take your right arm over to the left side. So let's, hold on, bend the knees. I forgot to say that. Bend your knees if they're not already. Right arm over to the left side. You're doing this from length from the spine. Right hand grabs onto the outer left foot. You might take a moment to set up. One side might feel tighter than the other. Left hand on left hip as you turn. Maybe the right leg straightens out, maybe not. Maybe both legs, maybe not. Remember, it's a breath practice. We're just moving also. Feel the breath move through your upper body, circle through the whole body. And slowly come back to center. Rise all the way up. Good. And then bring your feet together and make a long diamond. So take your feet out further in front of you. Walk your hands forward and let your head hang heavy. You're always welcome to put like a pillow or put a couple blocks stacked on top of each other under your forehead if that feels good to you. Maybe you rock side to side a bit here. It doesn't matter how far down you can go. We're just allowing the upper body to drape. Kind of like body's draping, kind of like a Spanish moss. I lived in Central Florida for a while, and a lot of beautiful Spanish moss draping off of the trees. Let's take 2 more slow breaths here, dropping further and further, deeper and deeper. Slowly make your way up and take your legs in front of you and lower down onto your back. Once you get there, hug your knees into your chest. Take your knees wide, still hugging them into the chest, rock side to side. Maybe even putting your hands on the insides of your knees. Good. Bring the knees back in. Grab onto the outer edges of your feet. Happy baby. Again, rock side to side here if you'd like. Maybe straighten one leg at a time. Play around. Experiment with what feels good for you. And then release your legs down to the ground, arms down by your sides. I want you to go right into Savasana here. Close the eyes. We won't be here too long. And you're going to stay down. I'm going to guide you through a guided Savasana to help you relax. I want you to take a deep breath in like we did in the beginning and fill. Big exhale, sigh it out. Let your body nestle into the support of Earth, Mother Earth, beneath you. And feel the soft flesh on the soles of your feet. And feel the softness of your hands, similar to the bottoms of the feet, hands and feet, rooted and melting down, effortless. And feel your hips and pelvic bowl and the bones of your hips settling down, earth-bound. Notice the sensation of the air touching your skin. Feel the softness of the skin of your cheeks right below the eyes and cheekbones and down into the jaw. Feel the structure of your jaw and your teeth, and feel that point at the back of the mouth where the teeth, at the back of the teeth, where the jaw connects. Feel your two lips in front of your teeth resting, not changing, just softening more. And the weight of your head gets even a little heavier. And the whole back body heavy. Your body breathing with all of your cells, trillions of cells, breathing in and out together. Experiencing the etherealness of your body in this moment. The exquisite essence of awareness seeping into your bones. I'm going to invite you to stay here as long as you can, and I'll leave you here. I want to thank you so much for practicing. If you liked this practice, let me know when you're finished, once everything's integrated. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel so we can keep practicing together. All right, thank you for being here. I'm going to bow to you. You stay for as long as you can. Namaste.